what were the outcomes that we had. And we used an independent third party who basically said we had 24% better outcomes than our peer group.
I just wanted to let her know I'm wearing this white coat. I'm not employed. I'm not a contracted physician. I'm able to speak my mind. That's why I asked her. I said thank you for your advocacy for patients and doctors.
Okay, some breaking news. Dr. John Littell kicked out of Sarasota Memorial Hospital, the board meeting, after testifying to the effectiveness of ... Many of you will know what I'm talking about, but on CensorTube, I cannot say. It starts with I, for treatment of, what's been going on those last few years. So there's footage of it, and there's a guy filming it, and he's trying to follow the doctor as he's being escorted out. And then the police at the door saying, no, you can't go and film in here. So of course, if I was there, I would be, please get out of my way. I'm leaving this room and I'm allowed to film in a public space. So I wish he continued and we could see what's going on with the police and the doctor outside the room. But for future knowledge, you are allowed to film in public buildings until you're asked by a building person who represents the building to not film. And that at that point, in a public building, you must stop filming, but they have no right to delete or confiscate anything. So like in the courthouse, in the hallways, you could film, as an example, until you're asked not to. And then, of course, in a public space outside, you're always allowed to film, including you're always allowed to film the police in a public space as well. And without further ado, let's check out what's going on here.
What were the outcomes that we had? And we used an independent third party who basically said we had 24% better outcomes than our peer group.
I just wanted to let her know I'm wearing this white coat. I'm not employed. I'm not a contracted physician. I'm able to speak my mind. That's why I asked her. I said thank you for your advocacy for patients and doctors.
Wow, this is how it's done here.
All right. Second thing is to follow the money. I'm kind of a numbers guy. And did the hospital benefit, or was there any?
Sir, you're not allowed to record out here.
You can videotape the public meeting.
So can't videotape him? What are we doing to him? Interesting. He said I can't video what's happening out there.
The doctor and the patient, and any doctor that wanted to prescribe Inventin or any medical treatment that they felt was best for the patient was not blocked from the hospital. And I think that's
just another perfect example of censorship for doctors and for anybody in any field that is being coerced or threatened to not speak, to not tell truth. Everybody's like, oh, the doctors, the doctors keep saying everything is good. This is good for you. Take this. This is great for you. And they're like, well, the consensus is the doctors agree. It's like, no, everybody's been coerced. Everybody's been shadow banned. Everybody is in fear of losing their jobs. Many lost their jobs, and the ones that didn't lose their jobs are in fear of losing their jobs. The coercion is very strong. Everybody needs to pay their mortgage because you're a slave to the banks. You're a slave to the bureaucracy. Even Dr. G says she was pressured to not ask any questions or deal with this, even as a naturopathic doctor. So the censorship is everywhere, guys. Ernie Racing News, February 22nd, 2023.